recording. And we are recording, in fact. All right. Welcome, everybody, to the Tuesday evening screencast video coaching call. My name is Naylor. I'll be your host tonight. The other pre-submitted question that we have actually was from a while ago. And I answered the question, but I thought it might make a good demo for everyone because it's something that folks kind of run into. And here's basically the scoop. What is the best way to cut a stumble blooper out of a video? I've cut it, but had to cut an entire sentence and add a transition. Stumbled over a word, didn't re-record it, and she wanted to blend it, which was, usually possible. Just couldn't fix the jumpiness of the cut without a transition. And that's kind of the key thing here that a lot of folks struggle with. And I'll kind of demonstrate what that means. And when she says a blooper here, we're basically talking about camera video. All right, so in Camtasia, if we're working with camera video, what do you do if you're on camera and you screw up? Okay, well, first of all, what I would do is I would just keep recording. Unless there's some specific reason that you want to stop and start over. And that's because we can actually cut these things out. So you'll save yourself a buttload of time, and that's the technical term for it, if you just go ahead and keep rolling and use maybe one of these little tricks to they call it fix it in the mix. So let's go to the end here, and I'll set up a little bit of a scenario and a demo for you. So here's my buddy Joey Soto and his awesome dog Kiro the Wonder Dog. And I'm going to use a little clip that I have here. This is camera footage. And I won't be able to demo the sound aspect of it on the webinar here, but let's just kind of set up a scenario. So Joey's doing his thing here. He's talking. And let's say right here, at this point in time, let's make this like that. Let's make this a little bigger so we can see the audio. And I'm even going to zoom in a little bit more. And by the way, one other tip that I have that if you don't know this, you'll notice my waveform here. Mine might look different than yours. And that's because I have what's called a mirrored waveform. I like the mirrored waveform because, as you can see, I get a really good view of the detail of this waveform. In other words, what words are being spoken. Because I have two reference points, one up on the tippy top and one down on the bottom. Your projects may look something like this. If I go to Edit Preferences and turn off Mirror Waveform and say OK, you see that? And this is a matter of personal preference. To me, this is just harder to edit, to actually see what's going on. But if I go turn that back on, Mirror Waveform, okay, now again to my eye, I can really see exactly where I want to be. All right, so in our little scenario here, let's say that this little snippet right here, okay, this is Joey's goof. He messed up, but he just kept recording. Probably, maybe said it again would be the ideal circumstance, or maybe it's just something we can snip out if it doesn't too obtrusively hurt the content, right? So again, your best practice is if you mess up on camera, pause for a second and go again. Do another take. And a lot of times your second take will actually turn out to be better. So how do we kind of fix this? A lot of people will be tempted to do this. Highlight the bad part and hit the cut button. Right? When you do that, that certainly will get rid of the mistake. You'll notice that cut it out and stitched it together. But if we kind of scrub through here, actually I'll let it play. You see, you get this weird jump, and it's just unnatural. So let's undo that. That's kind of what we want to avoid. I'm going to give you a little trick here that the pros use, and it's called a jump cut. So follow my process here, and I'll explain why I do things the way I do them. I'm going to put the playhead just before the goof, right? Here's our goof. I'm going to hold my shift key. I'm going to grab the playhead and I'm going to move this down a little bit. And then I'm going to highlight our goof and cut it out. Let's see what the effect of that is if I just kind of move this back together and play it. See, we still have that goofy jump. Okay, but instead what I'm going to do is on the second clip, I'm just going to scale this up a little bit. Maybe not even a lot. Maybe something like that. And you can actually even move it around a little for whatever content might make sense. And now, when we put it together, watch what happens. See that? It's not, a jerky, abnormal thing. A jump cut is something that we're actually quite used to seeing. Everything on television or again in pro videos that you see will have jump cuts like that. And by a jump cut, what we mean is it simply moves from this, bam, to that. There is no transition. And remember what I said about transitions before. What a lot of people will be tempted to do, let's undo this. Let's undo our scale. Reset that. What a lot of folks will be tempted to do is, okay, I cut out the mistake, and I split the clip, and we'll go to our transitions, and we'll put a fade in here, right? That's what a lot of people think is the proper way to do it. I'll let that roll. And I actually moved the video here a little bit. And granted, it's not quite as bad as just the jerkiness, but it's not pro. That's not the way we want to do that. So let's go ahead and put this back. Just by putting that little bit of a zoom, and I'm sorry, it's not even a zoom. I'm resizing the scale of the clip here. But again, this is something that we are very used to seeing in almost everything. Watch a show on TV and see how many times they use this technique. It's actually something folks do on purpose, even if there aren't bloopers a lot of times. There's a term in the video industry called jolts per minute. Oh! I kid you not. And what that means is that people want to see something happen or move like literally every few seconds. Again, whatever you watch, just go ahead and time it. How long does a scene or a shot stay on screen? Not very long. So this is just one way to very quickly add some visual impact. Okay, boom. And then, of course, at some point after the goof, we'll find a natural point. Probably we'll just use here for our example. I'll go ahead and split this clip, click on this guy, and then reset this back to 100. If I want to, jump it back to whatever shot I had. So let's take a look at that in its kind of totality. Boom. There you go. Okay, that is a ninja trick for you. But that's really one of the best ways to get rid of those goofs in a pro manner without looking all amateur night by using transitions and stuff like that. This is like a standard skill to kind of have. And let me back this all up just a little bit. And I'll give you one other kind of caveat. So, some folks might say, well, you just go before the goof here, split the clip, and then apply the jump cut here and scale it up. That's generally a mistake because here's the problem. Yeah, I split it before the goof, but watch what happens if I then just highlight the blooper and hit cut. See that? It stitched it together, and you get all kinds of weirdness. So the reason, undo. The reason I use the shift key is so that it moves the clip down the timeline. Okay, there's no opportunity for it to stitch itself together here. Now I'm free to cut out my goof and do my deal, do my work. So that might trip you up if you tried to do it the other way by just splitting the clip and then increasing the size or scale on the second one. Okay. The other benefit that has is that if you have other work further down the timeline, like you've added callouts or something, and you go back and you say, you know what, I'm going to cut that out. Now, if you don't use the shift, this is called a ripple split. Not only is it splitting and moving this clip down the timeline, but everything else that's on your timeline, all the callouts you have in place, anything like that, all get moved in synchronicity. Okay, if you just grab this guy and move it, well, then your callouts are all hosed up. So that's another reason why I kind of do it that way. That's good stuff. That's a good tip for you. Yep. And a great question. Thanks for coming, and I'll see you all next time.